So as I showed before, this is the Bloom library. Yeah, 12,461 books in 529 languages. So yeah, it looks like they're in order of the number of books that are in those languages. So there's the most books available in English, and then Spanish, French, Russian. So you can either keep scrolling across here, or if you know the particular language. Let's see, for our Philippines people, so Tagalog. So then once you click on that, you have the this is all of the books that are available in Tagalog, and in a separate sections related to the topic, which I will show you when we get back to Bloom, that you can set the topic for the book when you're creating it. Yeah, so these are books in Tagalog, but now you can also search for books by topic. So animal stories, culture, yeah, personal development, spiritual, storybooks, traditional. So yeah, so I'm now looking at books on environment. So you may find that there's a book here in a language that you know. The books may be in multiple languages. So yeah, so you can see English, Bunu, Bunau. So if you know one of those languages, then you can download this book and be able to edit it in Bloom, or translate it into Bloom. You'll see that some of these have got coloured images. Some of them have got the line drawing images. So, and if you're looking for books that you may want to translate into your language, then it's helpful to consider this book, Palm Trees Are Useful. If your country or your location doesn't have palm trees, then this may not be the book that you want to translate into your language. Or it may be our land is our home, but the people in your area may live in homes that are different to these. So you may want to or check the permissions on the book whether you can actually change the pictures. Or it might be, Yeah, for example, some of these Indonesia books, it might be something that's common in one part of Indonesia, but not in your area. So that's things to consider. So if you found a book that you want to translate, or you're even wanting to look at it and read it and see if it's something that you want to translate. So by clicking on the book, there's an option to read. You can download it to the Bloom Reader, which I will get to tomorrow. Sorry, next week. You can download it as a PDF. Some of the books, if they're in digital format, you have the EPUB option. And if you're wanting to just look at the book and see if it's suitable, just click read. So then this will open the book, and it will show you the English text that's connected with that book. This book seems to have a lot of text, so this wouldn't be a book for early readers. And the concepts in here may be more advanced. So you may have started looking at that and decided, well, that's not the book that I want. So go back to the Bloom Library, and you might want a primer. That might be a better option. So yeah, so you'll see the symbols here. Some of these actually have sign language, and some of them have got audio with them. Okay, this one here that's called Cat and Dog. It's an alphabet book. This is just as an example, but if you're doing an alphabet book, you may have different words for the letters, or even different characters in your language. So if you look at this and think, well, this may be a good book, then there's an option, translate into your language. But I will choose one that is more of a story. Okay, so this particular
Do you
book,
love?
Actually has audio with it, but you'll see it's a fairly simple story. Do you ever love a chicken? Do you ever love a bug? So some of this is connected with Papua New Guinea, but just as an example, you wanted to translate this book. So go back to the Bloom Library and translate into your language. This will download it into If you click OK here, it will download it into your language. Sorry, it will download the book ready for you to translate into your language. So if it's books that may have audio, or if they've got a lot of text or images, then it may take longer to download them. So once it's downloaded, if you don't have Bloom open at the time, then it will open Bloom for you. And it will display your download is complete. You can see it in BloomLibrary section of your collections. So now in Bloom, if we go back to collections, if we scroll down to the books from the Bloom Library, and then you'll see the book here is Do You Love? So then, similar to if you're just choosing a collection, then it's an option to make a book with this source. So if you've downloaded a book from the Bloom Library, then you'll need to look at what the copyright and the permissions are. Okay, so this is not available for commercial use. And modifications can be made, but as long as others share alike. And there's the copyright information. So this book here, it's already available in English, which is my second language. So it already shows the English in the box. But if I was to choose just Thai and no English, then you'll see at the right that the text shows, if you click in the box, the English text shows in a bubble at the side. So what you need to do is translate that into Thai or into your language. So then you would do that for each page of the book. And because this is a book that is downloaded from the Bloom Library, you'll notice that the option Change Layout is not available. That's because the book is locked. The way to unlock it, if you see the bottom left of the page, this book is locked. It's in translation mode. So that means you can't make changes to it. You can't change the layout. But if you unlock it, then that will allow you to add other pages if you need to, or make changes to the particular boxes. So you might want to change the size of the text box and change the alignment, add borders. So you'll only be able to do that if you're in change layout mode, which isn't available unless you unlock the book. Okay, so there's a question in book workshops. There's a quality assurance about the quality of writing and appropriate level. How is this controlled in Bloom? So I'll come back to the continuing question. So in BloomLibrary, there are the books that are uploaded, which I'll show you soon. Books that you upload are checked by the Bloom librarian, but the challenge there is that that librarian may not know the language that your book is in. So just as in a writer's workshop, there may be checks for the quality of the writing and the level, then if you're working with people uploading books to Bloom, then you may want to have some sort of check in place that books in this particular language, you check. There is an option when you upload books to Bloom, to BloomLibrary, that you can mark them as a draft, which means you can give a link to someone and they can double check it for you, but it's not actually visible in the BloomLibrary yet. But there has been some discussions about having some sort of check for people in major languages, but also in the smaller languages as well. For example, if books are uploaded in Thai, and then someone who's familiar with or can understand Thai and is familiar with Thai concepts and culture may want to check those. There's already some checks in place for medical books that are uploaded to Bloom. There was a lot of books that are uploaded during COVID. So there is a group of doctors and medical people who check any books that are medical related, and possibly other topics as well. I'm not sure of that, but one advantage of BloomLibrary is that anyone can upload books, but it also has the disadvantage that that it is easy to upload any books. But in the BloomLibrary, I'll just go back to there. Any of the books that you see in the BloomLibrary, there is the option to report them. So, for example, if you find this book and you find there's something wrong with it, it may be that, you might have concerns about the book. It might be that the language it says it's translated into is not correct, or there may be some mistakes, or there's some images that are copyright. There's copyright on the images. You can express the concerns, and I did that recently with a couple of books, and then the Bloom developers and librarians got back to me, and we're discussing the concerns that it was another member had expressed about those books. So there is the option to report it. So even though it may be that anyone can upload to BloomLibrary, you can report a book that you feel may not be satisfying the requirements. But there is a terms of use link on the bottom of the BloomLibrary, which you can read. It has some further information about yeah, there. Yeah, so some things like to be aware of. Yeah, there's a section there about content may not be illegal, obscene, defamatory, threatening, infringing on intellectual property rights, invasive of privacy, or otherwise injurious or objectionable. Yeah, so there's a note there about Bloom has the right to remove any books that violate the terms of use. So if you've created a book within Bloom and it's ready, like I realize in the short training we can't get to like creating long books in Bloom, but I'm showing you the features within Bloom, and then maybe you can try creating some books and just playing around with Bloom to learn more about what you can do, and even try translating some books if you want to test out the translation abilities. Yeah, so the follow-on question was asked about if you edit a book and you want to go back to how it was previously. Bloom, you can go back to how the book was when you downloaded it from the BloomLibrary, but if you made some changes to it, Bloom will automatically save those changes. So if, for example, this book, I changed the text from the random text to "this is a palm tree," I can't actually go back automatically to the text, the random text that I had there. It's saved, "this is a palm tree." But one thing you could do is if you're creating a book and you want someone else to check it before you make further changes to it, then you could work on this book, then upload it to the BloomLibrary as a draft. So you would still have the draft available there, but then someone could look at it and suggest changes, and then you could make those changes within Bloom, but you would still have the draft available on BloomLibrary. And having the draft available, and there's also a feature with the team, with the Bloom Enterprise, which is team collections, that allows you to upload work on books as a team. But that is one of the page features. Otherwise, you need to be careful if you're working on one book and then sharing it with someone, they make changes to it. You may be working on an old version of the book if you're both editing at the same time, editing on separate computers. So let's say I'll go back to one of my other collections where I actually have some books. Yeah, these are not my books, but there's some books that are available in English. So for example, like I have this book here that's called At the Zoo. It has audio included, which it doesn't necessarily have to have audio included. And then, so it's a big book. It's got the images, it's got the text. So I want to print or publish or share this book. That's where you go to the Publish tab. So there's several options here for there's several options for publishing. So when you've created a book, there's several ways that you can print or publish it. You could create a simple PDF, which means you have one page of the PDF for each each page of the so each page of the book is a single page. So in this book you would have one. So one page would be the so one page would be the image, the next page would be the text, and so on. But for some books, which may not really apply to a big book like this, for some books, you may want to just print the book cover. So that's if it's a folded book, and you may want to print the book, the cover on colored paper or thicker paper. So you can choose as an option which is grayed out here, which is the booklet cover, or you could just print the inside of the booklet. But this, because it's a big book, it's not really a folded booklet, so that option isn't available. The other option, which is where you can actually get the books to the Bloom Library, is share on the web. So this is where, if you're uploading something to Bloom Library, then this will catch any of the things that you haven't completely completed. So this is showing us that was showing in red So please set so that copyright, there's something with the copyright that needs to be changed on the edit tab. And because that's not done, the option to upload the book isn't available. So we need to go back to the edit tab and then on the credits page. So this means that there's something in the copyright that needs to be updated. So it's got contact the copywriter for any copyright holder for any permissions, but we don't actually have the name of the copyright holder. So just as an example, we'll just put me as the copyright holder, me as the creator. But if you're saying contact the copyright holder, you would need more than just the name of the person. And then I'll say, yes, copy it to all other pages within the book. So now if we go to the Publish tab and click on Share on the Web, okay, it seems there's still something on the Edit tab that needs to be updated. So possibly something still in the credits. So if you were printing this book, then Bloom wouldn't be telling you the details about the copyright, or it wouldn't be stopping you from printing it. Okay, so here is what we need to change. We need to add the copyright holder. So now that we've done that, we should be able to go to the Publish tab and Share on the Web. And you'll see now that the copyright information is there. And we do have the option to upload the book. In order to upload something to the Bloom library, you need to have an account. So I'll just sign out. So there's an option here, sign up or sign in to BloomLibrary.org. So yeah, so there's option, like I've already signed up. So I'll sign, can either do it with Google or with an email address, maybe not a Google email address. So mine is actually connected with Google. So click on that. Then it will ask me which one I want to use. And because I'm in Thai, it's asking yes or no, if this is the correct one. Or if it's not, then choose another one. So now, so I could have just selected that it was the correct one there, but I'm showing you how the Google login works. So then sign in. So now I'm signed into the Bloom library. And I want to upload this book. I could also upload this whole collection. if I wanted to. But I just want to upload this book. So then Bloom will go through the steps of checking the book and uploading it. And yeah, so this one has audio as well, so that's taking a bit longer. So now it says, now the book's available on the Bloom Library, and it gives you the link of where it is. So now if I go to the Bloom Library, I'm logged in. So this is a book I've uploaded. So I have the option to show this book only to reviewers with whom I share the URL. So that shows it's a draft. It's not actually published, so others can't find it. And as you'll see there, this book has recently arrived in the Bloom Library. So it still takes a little while for the processing to happen. But if I look at the book and say, well, there's something, if someone else looks at the book and thinks, well, there's something wrong with it. So for example, wrong copyright information. So I could report that to, I won't do it now because I'm going to delete this book. But then a note would go to the Bloom librarian, and then they would contact the person who created or uploaded the book. There's also an option which is a feature which was requested by someone in a group in Asia, to have an option to easily upload books to Facebook. So there's the option here, which is share to Facebook, and it will give a preview of the book, and then yeah, so I think I'll just do this with testing. I will delete it. So books posted to Facebook. Okay, so if you delete it, this is only showing delete here because it's a book I uploaded and I'm logged in as myself. Yeah, so I can mark it as a draft. I can share it. I can delete it. But if I make some changes to the book and want to update it on the Bloom library, then I can just go in Bloom again and just upload it again. Bloom will recognize that it's the same book. It will be connected with some of these codes that Bloom has when it's uploading them. And then also this direct link. So then that direct link will overwrite whatever is here. Okay, so does Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I see there's one question here. Is there any process that we can use the Bloom book stories outside of Bloom, giving credit to Bloom? If there's books that are on the Bloom library, you would, and you're wanting to use it, a book that someone has uploaded to Bloom, and you're wanting to use it, you're wanting to share it with others, as it is, or you're wanting the PDF, then check the copyright that's connected with the book on Bloom. So it may be on the Bloom library, if you look at it before you download it, and then determine whether it's something that that can be used. Or there are some books that are on the Bloom library that were actually, so from books that Book Dash, Pratham Books, African Storybook. So these books are actually, they're books that, for example, Pratham is a non-profit publisher of children's books. Yes, so Pratham's generosity allows us to host many of their books. Some were translated using Bloom and then uploaded. Others were using another platform. So if you're wanting to use some of those books, which would be more the books with, probably the books that have got the coloured images, then you may need to contact Pratham Books or contact whoever has uploaded the book. Okay, so I do see there is a question in the chat. Can we create a Bloom book with many titles? I mean, for adult literacy, like storybook with many stories. So that that would be, if it's in that case, it would normally be a collection. So you would create a collection of, for example, books for literacy in your language, and then you could, you could have multiple stories. If you're including multiple stories within one individual book, then it can get into a big book, and may take a while to load. But you can have, for example, this collection here, it's books that could be used for literacy, and there's multiple books available within this collection. Each book, each story is a separate book. So you could be creating At the Zoo book today, and then tomorrow or next week you might be creating Cat and Mouse, but they're still within the same collection. Yeah, I showed you the basic book template, but if you're wanting a big book, then that is available there as well. A big book is normally where you have a picture on one page and text on the next page. Okay, so there's a question in the chat. If you want to re-edit the recent book again after a week, then can I use that book? Yes, you can. So I've closed, example, this trees book. I've closed Bloom. This is just, imagine it's a week later. I go back to this book. It's now showing in my collections. I didn't finish creating it. I didn't finish editing it. So now all I need to do is edit this book. And any of the changes that I made last time I was in the book, you can see here. And yeah, so this, yeah, so this shows the text. If I had text in Thai and English, it would show both of those. And I can go back and I can write now in English. This is a palm tree. I can make any changes. Then if I go back to the collections, which is closing the book, then work on the other book, edit this book. Then I can, yeah, I can make changes here, go back to collection. So every time you go back to collection, it's basically closing that book, but it's still within your collection. So yeah, you can come back a week later or a month later, and the books are still available. Does that answer the question? Okay, I just noticed there is a comment in the chat. Okay, so the question was is there a Bloom version for Mac? Currently there's not, but there have been requests for that. One of the challenges with the development of Bloom is that there's not a large team of developers, so the developers are limited in what what they're able to do. But maybe if you keep asking and suggesting, then there may be yeah, Bloom may be available in Mac, but not currently.